Hello, boys and girls. It is time for your math lesson. And in today's math lesson, we are going to have to find some missing numbers. So today, you are going to be number detectives because we're going to have some numbers that are missing and we have to figure out what they are. We have to use clues to figure out what they are. So I would like you to put your invisible detective's hat on. It could have a tie. It could be like a baseball hat. It could be a pointy hat, a floppy hat, but your detective's hat, and make sure you take out your invisible detective's magnifying glass so we can see everything we need to see. Now, today we're going to be finding missing addends. So let's review what an addend is. Now, if you look up here, 8 plus 4 equals 12, okay? Look at this one. Don't worry about this yet. This is part of our detective work, but we can't get to that until we do this. So an addend is one of the numbers that's being added to another number. So if you look here, 8 and 4, 8 is an addend, 4 is an addend. They are being put together to make the sum, whatever it equals. So in this case, it's 8 and 4 are the addends, and 8 and 4 added together equals 12. So in this addition sentence, 8 and 4 are parts. So one part is added to another part, and then that gives us a whole. Okay, and 12, or the sum, is the whole. So these are two parts, or two addends, put together to create a whole. Now, oftentimes, when we've been doing addition and subtraction, we know what the two addends are, or what the two numbers that one is being subtracted. We know what those numbers are. Usually, we don't know what this number is. But today, we are actually going to see, we're going to be missing an addend, and we're going to have to figure out what that addend is. So, we're going to hear a story that has to do with this up here. Okay, so you're going to hear a story and we're going to find out, as number detectives do, we're going to find out which number is missing. So listen carefully to this story. Kevin has 9 baseball cards. Okay, 7 of them are in a drawer. Some of the cards are in his pocket. How many baseball cards are in Kevin's pocket? Okay, think about it. So Kevin has 9 baseball cards. 7 of them are in a drawer, and some of them are in his pocket. How many baseball cards are in Kevin's pocket? So right now we can write our addition sentence like this. We know there's 7 in the drawer. We don't know how many are in the pocket, and then we know how many Kevin has in all. So we know there's 7 in the drawer, and we know that there's 9 in all. So now we have to figure out, how many does Kevin have in his pocket? Now we have to find the missing addend. Now there are a few different ways that you can find this out. You can either use objects like how we use our cubes or our bears to help you figure out how many, if you have 7, how many more do you need to get to 9? You can use a number line and start at 7, count on to 9, see how many hops you have to do. You can also just in your head count on from 7 and see how many it takes until you get to 9. So and then there's another way that you can do it that we have kind of been focusing on the past few days. You can use a related subtraction fact. This will help you find the missing addend. So remember, yesterday we talked about fact families and how if they have all the same numbers, they all belong in the same house as part of the same family, right? Now, remember, a related addition or related subtraction fact would use the same exact numbers. So what do you think we should write to be our related subtraction fact here? We have the numbers 7 and 9. So if we're going to make a related subtraction fact, I have minus the minus, of course. All right, if we have a related subtraction fact, what do you think we can do? What numbers should we put here to find out how many cards Kevin has in his pocket? Well, remember, we talked about this yesterday. When you're doing subtraction, the number that should come first is the higher number or the greater number. Which one of these is greater? 7 or 9? Which one is more? 9. So we're going to put 9 at the front. 9 minus, what's our other number that we know? 7. 7 is our other number that we know. So we'll do 9 minus 7. And that equals what? 9 minus 7 equals, if you have 9, if you have a number line, if you're just counting backwards in your head, if you're using objects to help you count, if you have 9, you take away 7, you are left with 2. 9 minus 7 equals 2. So if this is our related subtraction fact, then which number has to go here? Well, it's the only number that we're missing, which is 2. We already have 7 and 9, but we don't have 2. So you would put a 2 right up here. So then it's 7 plus 2 equals 9. So if we go back to our story, we know that Kevin has 9 cards. 7 of them are in the drawer. How many of them are in his pocket? Well, that would be 2. Okay, so you can use a related addition or related subtraction fact to help you find the correct answer in this story, or in any story given. Okay, so let's see. Let's go over, I have another story for you. So let's go over another story. Let's see, we're gonna have different numbers and we're still gonna have a missing addend. So you gotta keep your detective hats on. All right, Amy has 8 pretzels, okay? Some pretzels are in her lunchbox. 5 are on the table. So how many pretzels are in her lunchbox? Well, let's see. How many pretzels does Amy have in all? 8, right? It said Amy has 8 pretzels. Oh, if you would like, this story is actually at the top of your worksheet with Amy's pretzels. So if you would like, you can look along with me. All right, so Amy has 8. So we're gonna put the 8 over here because that's how many she has in all. And when you have a number that's in all, you know that that's the sum. Okay, so Amy has 8 pretzels. Some pretzels are in her lunchbox and 5 pretzels are on the table. So we're gonna put the number 5 right here. So it's 5 plus blank equals 8. Okay, 5 plus what equals 8? How many pretzels are in the lunchbox? Well, again, we can use a related subtraction fact. So what would our related subtraction fact be? Well, remember, it's got to have the numbers 5 and 8, and then it will have one more number, which will go here too. So which one should go first in the subtraction, 8 or 5? 8, because 8 is greater, 8 is more. All right, so we'll put an 8 here. Then we'll take away how many? We'll take away 5, because that's the other number that we know. So 8 minus 5 equals, so if you have 8, you take away 5, how many are you left with? 3. 8 minus 5 equals 3. Very good. 8 minus 5 equals 3. So then we know that this missing addend would be the other number here, which is 3. So it would be 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, so boys and girls, this is definitely a very tricky concept to learn. This is something that isn't easy to get. So if you don't get it right away, that's okay. This is something we'll also review again at home. Now, go ahead to your worksheet and we will actually do the first couple together and then you can do the rest on your own, okay? But I want to get you started on it, okay? So for number 1, well, we'll actually skip number 1 because they kind of give you the answers, right, to trace. So we'll do numbers 2 and 3, all right? So let's start off with number 2. All right. So number 2 says 7 plus blank equals 9. This is like what we did with Kevin and his baseball cards. Well, to find out what 7 plus blank equals, we have to do the the related subtraction fact. So we would put 9 here. 9 minus 7 equals 2. So these are the numbers that you know. So you're going to put them in a place that will help you find the number that you don't know. Okay? So because 9 minus 7 equals 2, at the bottom, you're going to put so 7 plus 2 equals 9. So you're going to write in the related subtraction fact and you're going to write in the missing addend. Okay? All right, let's try number 3 because number 3 is slightly different. So let's take a look at number 3. All right, here we go. So number 3 is question mark comes first. So the blank plus 3 equals 11. All right, so that's what we start with. Blank plus 3 equals 11. Well, what's our related subtraction fact? What's our related subtraction fact? Well, if it's related, it's got to have these two numbers. So we'll start with these. Which one is greater, 3 or 11? 11. So we will start with 11. And it'll be 11 minus 3. 11 minus 3 equals what? 11 minus 3 equals 8. Very good. So if 11 minus 3 equals 8, so again, you have that on number 3. So then you've got to fill it in. 8 plus 3 equals 11. All right, and you got to make sure you fill in that missing addend. Okay? Okay, so I want you to try the rest on your own. There will be a time where it'll switch so that instead of being horizontal, it'll be up and down, but you do the same exact thing there. So for number 7 is optional. And number 15 is optional, okay? You do not have to do those ones. You can if you want to, but you don't have to, okay? So then you will have these other ones to do. Okay, so you notice how on number 10, it's up and down instead, but you do the same thing to figure it out. You put the 6 at the top and the 4 in the middle, so then you can find that missing addend. Okay? So boys and girls, like I said yesterday too, these are tricky concepts. So if you have a little trouble with it at the beginning, that is okay. I want you to just keep practicing this because that will help you get better and better. And I want you to just do your best, work hard. And I know that this is very tricky, but we will review some of it when we get back to school next week too, and that will be helpful. And I think you guys will do a really great job. So do your best. Let me know if you have any questions and keep up the good work, boys and girls.